History's world leaders have always been fascinating figures, but some of their lives were filled with wild, dirty, and downright unbelievable moments. Let's dive into some of the most insane facts about the rulers who shaped our world, beyond the history books. Elagabalus, the Roman emperor known for his bizarre and extravagant behavior, staged an unforgettable entrance into Rome when he was crowned. As a show of power and decadence, he had hundreds of naked women drag his chariot through the streets of Rome. His reign, from 218 to 222 AD, was filled with scandals, eccentricities, and shocking behavior that ultimately led to his assassination at just 18 years old. During the Victorian era, hysteria was a medical condition believed to affect women, causing anxiety, nervousness, and irritability. One of the most bizarre treatments for this so-called illness was pelvic finger massage, which doctors performed to induce what they called a hysterical paroxysm, essentially an orgasm. This treatment was incredibly common, and the invention of early vibrators was actually meant to relieve doctors of the physical strain of manually administering the treatment. King Ferdinand VII of Spain, who ruled in the early 19th century, had a rather personal and peculiar issue. His doctor noted in a diary that Ferdinand had an enormous and malformed member, which made it incredibly difficult for him to consummate his marriages. It said that Ferdinand had to use a pillow with a hole in it to assist in the act. He went through several wives before finding one who could handle his unique situation. The graphic details written by his doctor remain a curious and somewhat disturbing historical footnote. King George II of Great Britain had a rather undignified death in 1760. The king was known for his fiery temper, and it's believed that he died while sitting on the toilet after a particularly explosive bout of flatulence. The extreme pressure caused a blood vessel in his heart to burst, leading to his sudden death. While it might seem like a strange way for a king to die, it's certainly one of the more memorable royal deaths in history. Julie d'Aubigny, a 17th century French opera singer, was known for her incredible voice and her scandalous life. She once took holy vows to enter a convent, not to live a life of piety, but to have an affair with a nun. After seducing the nun, the two women fled together. Julie's life was full of sword fights, duels, and wild romances, making her one of the most infamous figures of her time. Despite her chaotic life, her talent as a singer made her a star in the French opera. Ivan IV of Russia, better known as Ivan the Terrible, is infamous for his brutal reign. One of the most tragic and insane moments of his life came in 1581 when he killed his own son in a fit of rage. After a heated argument, Ivan struck his son, Ivan Ivanovich, with a pointed staff, fatally wounding him. Overcome with guilt, Ivan reportedly held his son's body in his arms and begged for forgiveness. This moment is often cited as a symbol of Ivan's uncontrollable temper and the personal tragedies that marked his reign. Roman Emperor Caligula is remembered for his madness and cruelty, but one of his strangest acts was declaring war on the sea. After planning an invasion of Britain, Caligula's army marched to the shores of the English Channel. Instead of launching the invasion, Caligula ordered his soldiers to attack the ocean itself, commanding them to collect seashells as spoils of war. This bizarre episode is often cited as a prime example of Caligula's erratic behavior and megalomania. King Henry VIII of England is famous for his 6 wives and his role in the English Reformation, but his marital issues went beyond divorces and beheadings. Henry reportedly had such difficulty in consummating his marriages with his later wives that he developed elaborate excuses. After years of poor health and weight gain, Henry's personal life became as much of a scandal as his political decisions. His inability to produce more heirs only fueled his desperation for a male successor. Catherine the Great, the Russian empress, is often the subject of salacious rumors, but one of the more verifiable aspects of her reign was her taste for erotic art. It's said that she commissioned furniture adorned with explicit imagery for her private chambers. The designs were so scandalous that they were reportedly hidden away after her death, only to be rediscovered later. Despite the rumors about her personal life, Catherine's legacy as a powerful and effective ruler remains firmly intact. One of the most bizarre moments in the history of the Catholic Church occurred in 897 AD when Pope Stephen VI ordered the exhumation of his predecessor, Pope Formosus. Stephen had Formosus's corpse placed on trial in what is now known as the Cadaver Synod. The dead pope was accused of various crimes, and after being found guilty, his body was mutilated and thrown into the Tiber River. This macabre event shocked the Church and remains one of the strangest episodes in papal history. From bizarre medical practices to scandalous personal lives, these world leaders prove that history is filled with shocking, strange, and unforgettable moments. These leaders may have shaped nations, but they also left behind some of the most insane stories in history.